All right, let's talk about 7 side hustles that are actually proven to work in 2026. We're going to break down the exact pathways people just like you are using right now to make some serious money. So forget everything you think you know, because this is the real deal. Okay, but before we dive in, let me ask you something. Do you think you need some kind of revolutionary, never-before-seen idea to get rich? I'll be honest, I used to be completely obsessed with finding that one big idea myself. That is, until a mentor of mine told me something that just completely flipped my perspective on its head. And this is it, right here. This is the absolute key. He said, you don't need to reinvent success. It's not about inventing some brand new wheel. It's about spotting the patterns that are already out there, already working for people, and just making them your own. So with that in mind, let's look at 7 people who have absolutely mastered this. Okay, hustle number 1 is all about eBay reselling, what I like to call the niche gold mine. And the person who absolutely crushed this is a guy named Kai Towers. His story is pretty incredible. He came from a really tough background, was stuck in a dead-end job he hated, and just decided, you know what, I'm taking control. And he did it by selling stuff online. And this is exactly why we're starting with him. Kai took a tiny $400 investment and turned it into over $317,000 in a single year. So how did he do it? I can tell you, it wasn't just luck. He was smart. He tapped into this massive shift happening in the market that, honestly, most people have completely missed. Look, I know what you're thinking. eBay, isn't that dead? So many people think that, but the numbers tell a totally different story. See, eBay stopped trying to be Amazon. They're not competing on next-day shipping. Instead, they've become the absolute king of niches. We're talking collectibles, vintage stuff, refurbished tech, trading cards, you name it. And that's exactly where Kai found his gold mine, gaming accessories. It's a perfect niche, right? You've got passionate fans, a constant demand for new gear, and high-value items that collectors will pay a serious premium for. So, okay, how hard is this to actually get started? The barrier to entry is ridiculously low. Look at this, a 1 for time to learn and a 1 for money needed. I mean, you could literally start today. Just grab something from around your house you don't use anymore, list it, and start learning the ropes. Now, hitting that $10,000 a month mark, yeah, that takes some consistency. But this is, without a doubt, one of the most accessible ways to get there. All right, let's move on to hustle number 2. I call this one the ultimate middleman. And it's all about brand deal flipping. And the story here is wow. It's about Suhita Men. At just 16 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer. And from his hospital bed, he started doing something brilliant, connecting influencers with brands and just taking a small cut. Fast forward to today, the guy is generating over $4 million a year. And this is why it works. This chart shows it all. For the first time in history, streaming platforms like YouTube have actually overtaken traditional TV viewership. Think about that. Brands are absolutely desperate to get in front of these audiences, and they need people just like you to connect them with the creators. You become that essential, irreplaceable link in the chain. And check out the ratings on this one. Money needed, a big fat 0. You literally need nothing but a laptop and some of your time. The real value you're providing is bridging that culture gap, the one between the young, cool creators and the, let's say, older brand managers who don't quite get it. And getting to 10 grand a month is so achievable here because you don't need hundreds of clients. You just need a handful of really good, high-value deals. Okay, for hustles 3 and 4, we're going to group them together into a category I like to call high-value skills. It's all about weaponizing your creativity. These are skills that companies will happily pay a premium for, and we're going to kick it off with video editing. So the first question everyone asks is, but wait, won't AI just replace video editors? And this right here shows you exactly why the answer is a hard no. Look, AI is great at imitating. It can copy existing patterns, but it can't create a new style. It can't feel the emotion and tension in a scene. It can't innovate storytelling. That's the human edge. That's what Tom Natras used to not just escape student debt, but to start earning 6 figures and working with massive brands like Coca-Cola and Nintendo. That's the power of human creativity. Now, to be fair, this skill does take a little more time to learn. We're rating it a 3 out of 5, but the money needed is super low. You can get started with just a basic laptop. And the path to 10K a month is really clear. You start with some smaller gigs, build up an awesome portfolio, and that portfolio is what's going to attract those big, high-paying clients. Okay, now for our second high-value skill, brand identity. And if you want to understand just how valuable this is, just look at this number, $650,000. That's how much the UK government spent on a pretty simple logo redesign. I mean, it's kind of shocking, right? But it proves a huge point. Companies and even entire governments will pay absolutely enormous sums of money for a professional look and feel. And that's exactly what Jack Watson did. He went from an accounting job he absolutely hated to making $20,000 in a single month with this skill. Yeah, it takes time to master. It's a 4 out of 5, but the money needed is low. Think of it as an investment of your time, not your cash. And because you can charge thousands for a single project, you only need what? 2-3 clients a month to hit that $10,000 mark. All right, let's shift gears a bit. For Hustles 5 and 6, we're talking about owning your own piece of the digital world. I call this section Modern Storefronts. And just to be clear, we're not talking about old, outdated business models here. We're going to start with the evolution of dropshipping. So here's the absolute key difference you need to understand. The old way of dropshipping, it was a race to the bottom, all about fighting on price. The new model, what we call branded dropshipping, is completely different. It's about building a real brand that people actually know and trust. And that's exactly how Jimmy Barlow went from being broke to pulling in $40,000 a month in pure profit. He got it. He wasn't just selling a product. He was selling an entire experience. Okay, full disclosure, this is more of a long-term play. It's a 4 out of 5 for the time it takes to learn and build. But again, the money you need to get started is practically zero. And hitting 10 grand a month is way more achievable than you might think. Let's do the math. If you're making $25 profit per sale, you only need about 14 sales a day to hit that goal. It's totally doable. Our second modern storefront is all about one thing: attention. Attention is the new currency. And platforms like TikTok, well, they're the new central banks. A kid named Noah Bridley figured this out early. He just studied what makes content go viral and then started selling that skill to businesses. And get this, he started making over $100,000 before he was even 18 years old, just by helping businesses capture that attention. And this hustle is so accessible. Look, one's across the board for time to learn and money needed. You can start this today with a phone that's already in your pocket. The secret to hitting 10K a month here is all in the pricing. You need a smart strategy. Charge a flat retainer fee, sure, but also add a view bonus for any content that goes viral. That's how you really scale your income. And that brings us to hustle number 7, the final one. I saved this one for last for a very specific reason, because it's the one that I believe every single person, no matter who you are, absolutely must have. This one isn't just about making active income. This is the path to true wealth. The final crucial hustle is investing. And this number you see, $17,000 a week, that's what my own investments generate for me every single week in passive income. This is what took me from being a millionaire to a whole other level. Because here's the hard truth. If your money isn't working for you while you sleep, you will be stuck working for money until the day you die. Now, this path takes time to learn properly. I'm not going to lie. It's a 4 out of 5, but you can start with literally $1. And hitting $10,000 a month here is rated a 4. It's difficult because it's not about getting rich quick. It's about the slow, incredible power of compounding. It's about your money making money, and then that money making even more money. Of all the things we've talked about, this is the only one that works for you 24/7, even when you're asleep. It is the ultimate endgame. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We've gone over 7 powerful, proven pathways. First, we had eBay reselling, finding gold in the niches. Then, brand deal flipping, the ultimate middleman play with zero cost to start. We talked about high-value creative skills like video editing and brand identity. Then we covered the modern digital storefronts, branded dropshipping, and short-form strategy. And finally, the most crucial of all, the true wealth builder, investing. Every single one of these is a real path that someone, just like you, has walked to achieve financial freedom. The methods are proven, the patterns are crystal clear, so it all comes back to that millionaire's advice from the beginning. You've seen the patterns. The only question left is, which one will you make your own?